Caroline. Here we are again. Hello.
Nice to see you, Chrissy.
You too. We're going to do something a little bit different today.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to interview each other.
Okay.
And we thought we'd do this just to, again, let people know what we're like ourselves, what we like, how we roll, a little bit about our personalities, our likes.
Oh, I could be scared
quirky
here.
things here. Get ready.
Great.
So I'm going to interview you first.
Okay.
And I've got some questions for you. Hopefully you feel comfortable answering them all. Hopefully I've made them easy to understand and reflect you.
Mm-hmm.
My first question to you is, what first sparked your interest in design?
Okay. Well, I'm going to say probably when I was a little girl, I would always love going to places like my nana's house. I always thought that was really beautiful and, grand. And she had special pieces of furniture and she had gorgeous fabrics. And I always remember going into her, the sit-up room, the front sit-up room.
The grown-up room.
The grown-up room. And we were allowed to sit in there on a beautiful Sanderson linen sofa, and we'd maybe sit on the old gorgeous fluffy rug that was around the fireplace and just things like that. I think I always thought that was really special.
Yeah.
I had a beautiful neighbour who had a gorgeous home, so I always admired her home and an aunt who had a lovely home. And, our home is pretty special, but Mum had a lot of children. So it just made it a little bit more hectic. But I must say, I think, growing up, I just always had a lot of, colour and pattern and interiors around me. And I think that's probably what got me inspired to love beautiful things around me.
And the detail.
The details.
Do you have any hobbies that relate to your interior design career?
Okay, let me think about it. Well, I think I like collecting.
Yes,
I
do.
I do like collecting bits and pieces, and at the moment probably one of my loves is Murano glassware. I really enjoy, and I have been enjoying that for quite some time, but more so now because I just see so much more colour in it. And
what sort of pieces are you collecting?
I have got a lot of glassware, objects. I'm laughing because I can just hear my children going and rolling their eyes. So objects like decorative pieces, vases, plates and bowls and I love moving them around the house, and I do move them around the house from room to room. And I just love looking at them. I love the colour and I love how they're made, and
sometimes come on styling jobs.
Absolutely. I love their texture and I love their shapes and just everything about it. And it reminds me of travel too.
Did that obsession start during COVID?
I think it might have, but don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Tap, tap, purchase.
Exactly.
Yeah. What would you say your niche or unique skill is in this industry?
Okay, so I would say my niche and my unique skill would be mixing colour and pattern. I think that over the years, a lot of people have probably come to me for that. And have always said to me, I don't know how you can mix so many colours together and know that they work, and pattern on pattern, and just making sure that the tones are actually similar and work together.
Do you think that's grown with your experience over the years?
Yeah, I must say I have always had a passion for colour, but pattern on colour and pattern on pattern is, definitely come in time. And confidence, and over time that confidence has certainly come, and the more people have enjoyed it,
yes,
the easier it's come to me.
And the more opportunity to actually do it in people's homes.
Without a doubt. And I think that people now trust that I can do that. And some people will say to me, oh, well, okay, go ahead, do it, but it's on your back.
And they might not understand exactly the process and how it's going to look, the end result, until you've actually created it for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they'll be surprised in a positive way.
And I think that's another thing, with, us trying to create mood boards and, always having fabric
Mm.
cuttings and pieces so that people can see the flat lay
Yes.
or a mood board so that they can actually envisage it as well.
Yes, definitely. Not just digital.
Exactly.
Um, who or what have been the biggest influence in your design career?
Okay, so I would say to you probably from the beginning, I've always looked at Trisha Guild,
Yep.
Designers Guild. She, I think, works beautifully with colour, and she's got a great eye,
Mm.
and has been, very influential with her colours and her patterns. And
Mm.
I've always followed her. And to begin with, in my career, I would have used her fabrics on nearly every job I did.
Really?
Yeah. Um, and then I probably went into doing a little bit more classic design. So I probably would have looked at, somebody like Nina Campbell.
Yes.
And again, I feel like she is a classic.
Yeah, I was about to say the old classics.
Yeah. And then, I did do a lot of that work at the beginning as well. So
Mm.
very traditional
Mm.
and just beautiful and elegant. And I knew that I could always find that look with what she produced each season. And probably now I'd say to you, if we were to look at anything, like
Mm.
we'd probably look at Kit Ken. I think
Definitely.
that the style and the contemporariness of her and her work is extraordinary.
And the use of colour and
The use of
pattern.
colour and pattern and oversized,
Mm-hmm.
and bold,
Mm.
a real presence.
Yeah.
And, where possible, I probably would do that. But yeah, then there's, just other little designers that you stumble upon. You think, wow, I love that. And,
Yeah.
I'm always looking at different things and, like wallpapers from Lacroix, I've used in the
Yes.
past. And I love,
Oh, yes,
individual
she loves
styles
that. She sure does.
like that.
What is your favourite part of the design and decoration process?
I'm going to say to you, I really enjoy sourcing. And I think you'd probably say the same.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's the
How could you
fun. I
not?
know. It's the fun, I think. It's getting a brief from a client is
Mm.
awesome and it's exciting. And then, nailing that,
Yeah.
finding, different unique pieces. And I try not to put, similar designs on, people's jobs.
Mm.
So I always try and look for something new and
Yeah.
individual or, something that's a classic, but, mix it up
Yeah.
by
Or
having a
or
different
relates to that
fabric or
client.
yeah, and
Mm.
relates to that client. So certainly listening to what their needs and thoughts are, and that's the amazing thing about it. I'm often wanting to buy things for my house,
Mm.
but don't have the opportunity because I don't have the room. So therefore, having the opportunity to buy it for a client, and show them, and
Mm.
then get so much enjoyment out of it. I feel like I've bought it
Yeah.
in
It's
a way.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah,
You get a bit of a buzz from it.
yeah.
What's the first thing you notice when you visit someone's house?
Okay, that's a hard one, isn't it? Um, I'm going to say I probably walking into someone's home, I would notice light first.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably something that, I'm drawn to and, where is the light coming from and where, how's it going to be useful in the space, in the house. And then I'd say to you, layout of furniture.
Mm-hmm.
I can't not going to a space, whether it's a house or a restaurant or a,
Yeah.
area that, a reception place. I can't go in there and not start moving furniture around in my mind.
Yeah.
Think that placement of furniture is incorrect and that scale's wrong, need to be bigger, smaller, or it needs to be, orientated this way or that way. And colour.
Yeah. Okay.
I would go in there and think, this is all a bit bland. It's one colour. That's hard for me.
Yeah.
Just to even add, tones on tones of different whites, ivory, beige, whatever it may be, just to have different tones and different scales of colour.
This is interesting to me because this to me is a very basic question.
Yeah,
Because for
right.
me, I would always say smell,
Yes. Yes.
smell, because I just think it's also creates a memory.
Yeah. The first thing you notice when you
Yeah.
walk in somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair
So
enough. Love it.
no, but so that's very interesting that what you have said. I think very different responses. Um, what's the best advice you ever gave a client?
Oh gosh. There's lots of things. I I probably and I still probably say it to this day, you've got to really love it. You've
Mm,
got to really want it so that you get to really enjoy it.
mm. Yes, you do say that. And it's true,
Okay,
isn't it?
good. Well, I think so.
It's good advice.
Yeah, good.
What's the strangest request you've ever received from a client?
Oh gosh, so this is okay. All right. So I had a client who thought they were short on space in their loo. So we came up with the scope of work, and then he said, I've got a good idea for the bathroom loo that I know is going to be very tight. I looked at him, thought, that's unusual. So he showed me a photo. I kid you not, it was a toilet. And you would go to the toilet and then you'd put the seat down, flush it on the side, and then on top of the cistern
Yeah.
was a tap with a basin. So you would put down the seat and you would move to the side of the toilet and
Wow.
you'd wash your
So it
hands
was like
in
an
the vanity.
all-in-one.
Yes, in the vanity, which was the basin sitting on top of the loo cistern.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not, to his credit, use that toilet.
No.
I
But we
went
do have a great photo of it, which we might
yes,
pop on Instagram one day,
exactly.
and you'll see the ridiculousness of it.
But gee, didn't that give us an hour of laughter?
Oh, wow. Boy. And we still think about it and laugh. It
We
was
do.
one of the best.
It's one
My
of the best.
God. Oh, how do you balance personal style with your client preferences? That toilet is not an example of
No,
this.
it certainly isn't. Um, well, again, getting the scope of work from a client. So the brief that I receive, it again, listening to a client, making sure that what we're going to produce and give them is something that they are asking for.
Mm,
So it's actually really not even about me.
mm,
It actually becomes about them.
mm.
So as a result, I don't feel like people would walk into the homes I did and said, "Oh, Caroline's been here." I feel like in areas, yes,
Mm,
but I feel like they could come into a space and say, "This is beautiful and this reflects you and your
mm,
family and your style." And
mm.
that's what I hope that would happen. I definitely would bring a touch of me in there, but I
And what
certainly
would that touch be then?
well, it might be, for example, it might be something as simple as a cushion.
Mm,
A cushion that's got 3 more colours than they
mm,
probably would have selected if they didn't have me.
mm,
It could be something simple as that. It could be a piece of art, again, the same, them probably selecting something a bit more, monochromatic and me introducing them to a few more
yeah,
colours in that piece of art. So it could be something as simple as that, but definitely I don't think I get affected by what I love for my
yeah,
own personal self, and showing the client what they're asking me for. I
yeah,
I feel like I can give them what they need and, their style.
definitely. Well, that's all part of the job. How do you balance work and life?
Well,
Because
I
you have a busy
I
life.
have a busy life. I feel I'm very strict with myself. I get my work done. I don't feel like I'm dragging my feet on my work. That's one of my priorities as well as my, um, life at home.
I guess you can be a bit flexible with the work. You can do it late at night if you need to. You can do it
Yeah.
early in the morning if you need to.
Absolutely, and I do work, on the weekends if I have to as well. So, and that doesn't worry me. If I need to do a couple of hours here and there, it's fine.
Yeah.
Go and do delivery on a Saturday, it's fine. It doesn't affect me if I can work it out and and balance it.
Mm.
I will make it happen.
Yep, you certainly do. What's the biggest challenge you have ever faced in the industry?
I'm going to say to you, and I think I'd be saying it for a lot of people, COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like COVID was the fear of the unknown.
Mm.
And I think that none of us really knew what was going to happen.
No.
And I certainly remember at the beginning of it, my husband was really busy with his work,
Mm.
and he was going to work each day. And he said, "Well, don't worry, it's going to be fine. COVID's hit, but we'll be all right." And I said, "Well, yeah, but your career is going to still keep going.
Mm.
I'm not quite sure if mine will."
Mm.
And I think he was a bit shocked that I said that, because at that point in time, clients were getting a bit edgy as well.
Yes.
And, clients were at the beginning certainly saying, we'll just hold off for a bit,
That's right.
because we didn't quite know how long this COVID thing was going to be.
Mm.
And then when I feel like, halfway through, not even probably a third way through, people were getting their confidence back. So we started working from home, started doing Zooms, and, we're able to get, samples and things like that sent to us, via post, and, pop past and pick something up, or,
Mm.
things like that started to happen a bit more.
It's had a
So,
long-lasting effect though, hasn't it? Like for the 2 years after, the material shortages
mhm,
and just still the fear because of the
yes.
interest rates going up and,
Absolutely. And
um
remembering that we couldn't, like you're saying, there was a lot of stock that we couldn't receive, and
mm,
things that come in on shipments from overseas took, doubled the
double,
time,
just pushed everything
pushed
out.
everything out. So,
Mm,
knowing our ETAs is we still would say now to this day is a big thing.
yeah,
You
definitely.
definitely always want to be clear on your ETAs, and is the fabric available? Is the furniture available? Is it going to get custom made? Where's that components coming from? It's
That's
all of
right.
that.
Is it Australian made?
Exactly.
All of that. Yeah, it definitely was a huge, scary time,
Yeah,
wasn't
it
it?
was.
And
And
long
builds, yeah,
lasting.
and buildings, and architecture, and yes, they were still getting done,
Mm,
but the quoting stage became a lot harder, and so as a result, things were being pushed back.
harder because you couldn't go on site too.
Yeah.
Just shocking. Okay, let's talk about something nice.
Mhm.
What's your favourite piece of furniture that you have and
Okay.
why?
All right. Okay. I'm going to say I've got a beautiful Murano glass chandelier in my bedroom,
Hmm.
and I probably love that the most.
But
Um,
you're not 100% sure?
no, I do. I do. I'm trying to think. I've got other things in my house that I really love.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and it came to me via, and this is a weird story, but over the years, and I'm going to say to you, like, probably even 15 years ago, I worked with a supplier, and he, at this point in time, had a big warehouse full of stock, and um, that I was going to purchase that light film, but I was thinking, oh, it's very expensive,
Yeah.
and it was probably out of my budget. Anyway, I did s he I did some work for him, and he couldn't afford to pay
Mm.
for it, and I could just see that things weren't going well with his business, and he was most likely going to close down,
Right.
and so instead of paying me, he paid me with that
Oh,
chandelier.
poor you.
Yeah, so that's how I got that into my house,
Oh, very
into my bedroom, and
nice.
it's absolutely beautiful. I love it,
Yeah. Well,
and I'll
it's
have it
stunning.
forever.
Yeah, that's right. Um, if you could live in any city for its design aesthetic, which one would you choose?
Mm, I'm gonna say to you, New York.
Hmm.
And the
Why?
reason I'm going to say is because there's so many parts of New York that you can go to, and you can see so many different things,
Mm.
whether it's, the museums,
Yep.
whether it's the buildings, for its architecture, um, or it could be, and if you're going to look at, interior design, they often have it in one building, and you'd go, and have a look at the area that has the lights, and then you go and look at the rugs, and then you go and look at the fabric house, and then you go and have a look at the furniture. I love that.
Hmm.
And you can take your clients there. I think that's really fun.
Yeah.
But things like that, the bridges, and the High Line, and just the beautiful, gorgeous styling that they do in shops, and
Yeah.
I love their retail.
Everything's big.
Everything's oversized, big, and their restaurants are exquisite. And they
Mm.
have some of the best in the world there. Their fit outs are extraordinary. Hotels are
Yeah.
amazing, often, and again, the fit outs in, the hotels, it could even be in, the reception areas. And that's the good thing about New York. You feel like there's so many people there. Doesn't matter if you walk into a reception, into a hotel because no one really knows if you're staying there or not, So
Yeah,
it's one of
yeah,
those sort of
yeah,
places you can be invisible,
yeah,
but you can also be part of it. So, and just the beauty of it all, love it. Central Park,
yeah,
just love the diversity,
yeah.
of people but the interiors and buildings and architecture and art and
Extraordinary.
extraordinary.
Loud, bright, and bold like yourself.
Oh, thanks.
Ah,
God. Okay.
here's a weird one for you. What's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you on a job?
Well, I know one, that happened to you and I actually. Um, we were in, a farm at a farm, and we were, doing the farmhouse, and we were staying the night, and we had a whole house lot. We had big truck, follow us up there, and we had, lots of deliveries, and we pulled back the drapes, and behind the drapes was this massive spider,
Oh,
tarantula,
monster spider.
tarantula.
Hairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, and he was the biggest thing we've ever seen, and we both nearly died. And not only did we nearly die, we had 3 delivery guys with us, and they were screaming.
And they were big guys too.
They
Like,
were
we were scared of them.
exactly. They were big guys, and
Yeah.
even them trying to get the stupid spider out. I remember them screaming and yelling, "Ah, ah, ah,"
There's
worse than us.
there's some good video footage of that too
There
with lots
is.
of screaming.
Absolutely.
What are you most proud of?
Um, well, I've probably got a couple there, but I'll say I'm probably most proud of when, Nick and I finished our
Oh.
home reno,
Mm.
on the current house that we live in. I think we both had that was our dream together,
Yeah.
and, when that comes to a head and you finally finished it and, you just think all your hard work's paid off. You never think that's gonna happen,
Yeah.
and when it actually happens, you just think, "Oh, thank goodness,"
Yeah.
now we can actually sit, relax, reap the benefits a bit and enjoy
Yes.
and enjoy the house, even though it's a busy household and, sometimes I feel like we don't enjoy it enough. But, when it was done, that certainly was one of my proudest moments.
Yeah. And it was
Yeah.
designed well, and you've designed it so your children that were young then are now older, and it still
Yeah.
works well.
Yeah. It's done
Still
for a
looks lovely.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
Oh, thanks.
You have been in the industry for 25 plus years. What would you tell your younger design self?
I would tell my younger design self to back myself.
Mhm.
I think that, now that I've had over 20 years, under my belt, I feel like I could say that, you know, I'm a good person. I will always be respectful, listen, and do the right thing. And I feel like I don't need to ever, look behind and think that I shouldn't have done that. I could have done that better. I should have, would have.
Mm.
I don't need to do that. I just feel like I just always could have walked forward and thought, no, I've done a great job there.
Mm.
But I think that's just us in the industry because there's always something in the next week that we see and we go, oh, I could have used that. Maybe that would have been better on the job. Or
And
it's
also, we're very critical of ourselves
we are,
because
and
it's
that's
so
hard, isn't it?
detailed focused,
Mm,
yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, I
and
just
visually focused.
say, yeah,
Mm.
definitely. Back yourself. I think that would be the number one. And probably the other thing that I would say is, just if you don't have a good vibe with something or someone, about something, just can it.
Mm.
Just can it.
If it's not the right fit for you, don't do it.
Don't do it. That's always you're always gonna have that feeling.
Mm.
And yeah, so I definitely would not do those sort of jobs again anymore.
Fair enough. Years of experience,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It takes years of experience.
It does, doesn't it? And
Definitely.
you've definitely got that.
Yeah. So my first question to you, Chrissy, is what would be your own personal style when it comes to interior design?
Okay. This is quite open ended for me because I'm definitely contemporary,
Mhm.
But I think I am also evolving
Mhm.
continually, and I would have to say I'm eclectic, I think.
Mhm.
I know I love in my interiors in my own house
Yep.
and where possible with clients. I love modern
Mhm.
furniture and style, but I love antiques too. So I love to mix it in together. So old and new. I definitely like luxury.
Yeah.
So I like things to look luxe in houses.
Yeah.
And I definitely like texture.
Mhm.
So let's just say I'm eclectic.
Mhm. All right.
Hope that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's a good answer. And what do you gain for inspiration? Where do you get it from?
From everything,
Okay.
from walking down the street and seeing a beautiful flower,
Mhm.
the colour mixed with, the leaves. Like nature is incredible for, the way it um, has the mixture of colours that, and it all just comes naturally. So anything, books,
Yep.
TV, anything. I
Okay.
like I like even just talking to other designers
Mhm.
and getting inspiration from
Yeah.
them. I just think you just get it in everything. I
Mm.
like it. Fashion too, as you know. So I
Yes.
get inspiration from that, just the way colours work together and patterns
Yeah.
and prints. So everything, Caroline.
Okay. Good answer. And do you have a particular style of house you enjoy doing more than another?
Well, I definitely would have to say a period home.
Okay.
I I just love the history and the architecture of these older houses. They're unique and special, and I like to think that I can bring my own little bit of style into them, and create a beautiful period/modern home.
Yeah, which is interesting because then you've just answered the last couple of questions and said, you're quite contemporary.
Yeah,
So then, and you'd love traditional homes too.
yeah,
So it's a great mix.
yeah. Well, as I said, I think I'm eclectic. So
I absolutely agree with you.
yeah.
And what would be your favourite interior piece you have bought yourself or you've bought for a client?
Okay, so for myself, definitely we have this Japanese antique Japanese workbench
Yeah.
that we bought my husband and I maybe 15 years ago now,
Yeah.
and it's unique to say the least. We always place it behind a sofa,
Mm-hmm.
so it becomes like another table. It's great for putting decorative objects on.
Yeah.
Also, if you're sitting on the sofa, you can put coffee or a wine on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it is kind of the centerpiece of the room,
Yeah.
and everybody notices it.
Yeah.
It's got, it's very marked, and, it's very imperfect, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it so special. It's got a history all of its own, and I love it.
And where did you buy that one from, Chrissy?
From a shop, it was David Bromley's shop,
Yeah.
so he's sourced it from Japan,
Yeah.
and it's an antique. So, yeah, we bought it from a David Bromley store.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. And for a client,
Yeah.
it's not actually a piece of furniture. It
Yeah.
was a design,
Yeah.
a shelving design that is quite unique with
Yeah.
arches and quite detailed. And that client just loved that particular, let's call it piece,
Yeah.
because it was unique and it reflected her love.
Oh, great.
Mm.
Fantastic. Excellent. And tell me, what do you like best, plain or pattern fabrics?
Oh. I love both.
Mm-hmm.
They complement each other.
Yeah.
I would have to say pattern, although I'm not as into bold colours with patterns, but I respect the complexity and design of pattern, and I would have to say pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And texture. You love
I
texture.
love texture. I would probably mix plain
Yeah.
a lot more than you probably would
Yes.
with pattern.
Yeah.
So, look, I love them both, but yeah,
Yeah.
pattern.
Beautiful. And tell me, are you drawn to particular colours more so than others?
Definitely. I'm drawn to blues and greens.
Yeah.
I think, with the blues, I think they're well, they represent the ocean to me that I love, and I think calmness, and the green is fresh and represents growth, and I just love those two colours together, and I don't know, they just internally make me feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's your go-to
It's my go-to.
for you.
Yeah, I can't not love them. You just get a feeling inside,
Yeah,
don't you? Would
and
you
you're
say the
drawn
same
to them.
thing? Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have a favourite interior designer?
No, I don't. I like lots of designers.
Yeah,
I like I like all the designers you like, but I also like Hare and Klein.
yeah,
I like their elegance.
yeah,
Um, recently, I've been getting really into David Flack,
yeah,
mainly because I stayed at the Ace Hotel last year,
yes,
and I loved his use of materials,
yeah,
the way he put that all together. So I've been quite into him. I do love designers like, not that I've ever really used him much, but Greg Natali. I quite like.
okay.
For me, he represents luxury,
Yeah,
and I
right.
quite like that.
Yeah,
Um, also, when it comes to that, I could also say that I also like American architecture and colors. So that's not really a designer, but it's more a design style.
style.
And I really like, I can feel it in me that I absolutely love
Yeah,
the way they do things.
yeah,
And yeah, there's plenty of American designers I love. I love Kelly Wearstler. I mean, who doesn't love Kelly
yeah,
Wearstler? But I do. I find her quite bold,
yeah,
and she's very clever.
yeah. I agree
So
with you. Yeah,
yeah, so bit
we've
of a
got a
mix
lot in
there.
there.
Bit of a
Yeah,
mix,
I'll
yeah.
say. Tell me, do you prefer a mood board that you can touch and feel, or do you prefer, or are you more of a digital person?
I'm definitely into the touch and feel.
Yeah.
Um, I just think whenever you do touch and feel, it goes through you, and
Mhm.
it just helps you to decide what you do and don't like.
Yeah.
You know, let's, for instance, like velvet, when you touch velvet, you just feel warmth and
Yeah.
coziness, and don't you? And then when you touch a linen, not so much, but it's more freshness, and you can't get that on a digital board. I
No.
mean, I respect the digital
Yeah.
board. If you're have a client that you're working with
Yeah.
overseas, well, sure, you can send them samples in the post, but they might see something immediately. So
Yes.
I respect the digital board, and
Yes.
it does help with a concept, but nothing beats touch and feel.
Yeah. I'm with you. I wonder if everyone thinks the same as us.
I reckon 95% would, wouldn't
Yeah.
they?
We think so, but maybe it's because we're in this field.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. And tell me, what are your go-to pieces at the moment?
Oh,
I know this
wow.
changes all the time,
Jeepers.
but what would be like, even if you think of one or two?
Yeah, so I've thought about that, and for some reason I've been doing a lot of bathrooms and kitchens lately.
Yeah.
So I would have to say my go-to is the hand cut mosaic tiles that
Okay.
are around that are
Beautiful.
so beautiful, and now they're bringing out more and more colours, and I just would like to use them all the time,
Yeah.
everywhere. Sometimes we get a bit tired of things, don't we? But I haven't yet. I haven't got
No.
tired. So when you say go to, that to me is like reliable,
Yeah.
versatile.
Sure.
And I think that hand cut tile is reliable and
Yes.
versatile. I mean, they're beautiful.
And they're beautiful.
They're just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can,
Mainly the handmade Moroccan.
yeah,
So you
definitely.
yeah. Mhm.
But also, like for styling, I was thinking about that too. Coffee table books.
Yeah, right.
They're so versatile, aren't
Yeah.
they? Pops of colour,
Yeah. Can go anywhere.
go anywhere. You can add things on them,
Yeah.
stand them upright, lie them flat,
Read them.
read them, just look at them. Yeah.
Exactly.
But they're a versatile, always used go to,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely agree with you. And okay, this is a funny one. This is a good one I think you'll like. If someone gave you $1,000,000 and you could only buy something for your interior, it has to be an interior piece, what would you buy and what would it be?
Well, I love art.
Mhm.
My first thing would be art. I'd
Mhm.
buy a famous artist's piece, let's say Andy Warhol.
Mhm.
I'd love one of his soup tin,
Yeah. Yeah.
multimedia soup tin
Very
pieces of
cool.
art. But then I thought about that and I thought, well, maybe I'd just buy up and coming artists,
Mhm.
like a whole lot of up and coming artists' work that sort of
Yeah.
added up to big dollars,
Yeah.
in the hope that, as time goes by, they'll appreciate in value.
Yeah.
I'd also buy some cracking antique
Yeah.
chandeliers. Thinking of the one that I saw at the Dior exhibition. I think that was 10 million bucks though.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Okay, you've only got
Maybe not that
1,000,000.
one. Yeah. An antique Persian rug. Oh my God. I
Okay.
mean, there's a lot,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Mm,
And so I'd say to you, they're probably your 3 favourite pieces that you
probably.
enjoy putting in your house as well as
Yeah.
a client's
Oh
house?
my God. Well, imagine a client saying, and it does happen for some designers, it
Yeah.
hasn't happened to me. I've got $1,000,000 to spend on accessories or art,
Yeah.
so that would be my dream.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Chrissy. Fantastic answers. I love hearing that insight into you. And it's, things that you and I just think that we know about each other. And we don't really actually ask each other those sort of questions.
No, we don't.
And I hope it's interesting for everyone else out there to hear and listen to as
Well, it's
well.
just to get to know us a little bit more
Yeah,
and make you think what would your answers be to these questions if you're in this industry or even just in general.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.